Hello. With this session, I would like to introduce to you the GLOBE project. There's a lot of literature available about different cultures and cultural differences. For the larger part of it, authors came to his or her conclusions by describing observations and different behaviors of people. But often enough, information about scientific fundamentals are missing. So the most comprehensive scientific study existing in the context of cultural differences is called the GLOBE study. The main study focus was on societal culture and some consequences for effective leadership in different cultures. What is the idea behind such an approach? Well, in the past, cultures were described usually qualitatively, meaning with words. For example, in Germany, rules are very important. Or in many Asian countries, hierarchy is very important. Or in the US, the individual is important. The problem with such a qualitative approach is that it is difficult to really compare cultures. So in the early 1980s, a researcher called Geert Hofstede, one or the other might have heard the name before, he asked the basic question, is it possible to really measure cultures and cultural differences? Well, he came to the conclusion, yes, it is. Geert Hofstede developed the concept of measuring important cultural values, which he called cultural dimensions. So how does it work? Well, let's assume we want to compare the importance of hierarchy in two different cultures, country A and country B. Let's also assume we ask a representative sample in both countries the question, how important is hierarchy in your culture? And we offer them as an answer a scale between 1, not important at all, to 10, very important. So let's further assume that the average value of country A is 3.5, not so important. And in country B, it is 8.2, quite important. We can see that the difference between the two countries is significant, and it needs to be considered when people from country A and country B work together in a team. The GLOBE study found and defined 9 fundamental cultural dimensions for a total of 62 different societies. Now, unfortunately, when we work in intercultural teams, it is basically impossible to memorize and consider the cultural values of 62 societies and 9 different cultural dimensions and consider those values in detail in our cooperation. So luckily, we can group these 9 cultural dimensions into 2 overriding dimensions that I will introduce to you with the next sessions. These overriding categories allow us to also find regional patterns, and we can develop a cultural world map. This will help us get an overview over the most important cultural values and behavior patterns we might have to expect when working with different cultures from different regions. Currently, GLOBE 2020 is updating the results of the initial study and is conducting surveys in a total of 120 countries. I'm really looking forward to the results.